Welcome to Talking Business. I'm your host, Darcey Edwards with Queen Bee Leadership Training. Talking Business is just that. We are talking business with business leaders, leaders in the community, and those who change their communities with entrepreneurship. This podcast is presented by Xpose Hope as a thank you to the business community. Catch us on all the platforms. Find us, follow us, and review us. Welcome to Talking Business. I'm Darcey Edwards with Edwards Realty Trust, powered by More Realty and Queen Bee Leadership Training. And today we have with us the owner of Grocery Outlet, Ted Walsh in Hillsboro. Thank you for coming today. I know you're busy working at the store. So how did you come
Thank you for having me.
to own a grocery outlet? I have to say, I shop there a lot and I love it. Lots of organics, lots of good prices on your wines, and they have Oregon wine. Love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so my career was in retail big box grocery.
Nice.
I was a store manager for a large grocery company. I worked there for 31 years, the last 20 as a store director.
Wow.
And, you know, as I went through that career, there were so many things I loved about it. And I always thought, what if I owned this store?
Right.
What if I had the opportunity to actually own this business, and what would that be like? And you know, I've known a lot of people through the years that owned various businesses and saw the ups and downs and the pros and cons of all that. You know, once I was, you know, into the business that long, it kind of starts to feel like, well, I'm kind of a lifer now. There's no turning back. I'm going to do this forever. And what happened is I saw other store managers going to Grocery Outlet, and because of their unique business model, even though they had a lot of tenure with the company, they found it opportunistic to go do something else, you know, to kind of finish out their career. And some of them were young and just starting. But the Grocery Outlet business model is very unique, and it really makes it easy for someone to get into owning their own business. So they're more interested in your skill set and what you bring than necessarily your net worth and those types of things. Because buying a grocery store would be very expensive, of course, right?
Yeah.
With all the inventory and the real estate and the refrigeration costs and all that. Well, Grocery Outlet's business model takes that off the table. They provide the real estate, they provide the inventory, and you run your own business entity. And you manage that inventory through their sources, their opportunistic buying sources and warehouses, and basically pay for it as you sell it. It's almost like consignment.
Oh.
So they're able to take the cost of that, of the real estate, the refrigeration, the inventory, all that upfront capital kind of off the table. You do have skin in the game. They require initial investment, and you buy the check stand equipment and all the equipment in the store. So there is, you know, a large investment on your part. You have skin in the game, but they take some of the initial huge cost away, which really makes it a lot more appealing. And then there, of course, the main thing is that you have that freedom of owning your own business, and the earning opportunity is obviously better.
Right.
So it really became apparent to me that it was a possibility. It was something that I could look at, even though I was, you know, down the tracks a ways in my tenure with the company.
Sure. But it is a family affair, right?
It is.
When you are a business owner, inadvertently, it's always a family affair.
Mm-hmm.
But in your case, literally, right?
Yes.
So your family is involved in your business?
That's correct. So, you know, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to do something else was to have the opportunity to work with my wife. We met at the grocery store that I became an assistant manager at back in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, we're married. And then, of course, I couldn't work in the same store as her after that, corporate rules and you know, policies. So it was always kind of my dream. Yeah, it would. Yeah. It was always kind of my dream to work with her again, and to be able to work with my wife and kids, you know, show them the entrepreneurial spirit and that side of the business. And this gave us the opportunity to do that. All grocery outlets are independently owned and operated, usually by like a husband-wife team or a couple people that, you know, have known each other for some time and have great retail experience and work well together. So it really lends to the family atmosphere. And it's a third generation business anyhow at a corporate level. The
Wow.
CEO of the company is literally third generation of the original founder of Grocery Outlet. So
Wow.
they really value that. They really value the owner operator model and providing that opportunity, you know, really the American dream for a couple that has worked retail and wants to venture out on their own and own their own business.
I love that. I love that whole, I mean, that's what I get when I go in the store. The feeling I get, I see people working, I see your wife working in there. I know I have, and I know I've seen you walking around. And so having that connection to the person is invaluable. What's the best part of your job? What's your favorite part of being a business owner?
I think the variety and the people. I mean, if you had to really boil it down, it would be definitely the people that the relationships that you form with customers, with vendors, with your employees, with other operators. It really is a special connection a bond that you kind of form. You know, we think of our employees. You know, in my previous life, I thought of my employees as, you know, employees, associates. Here, we feel like they're family. You know, we really do, and you know, and I have my family there with me, so it really becomes kind of that atmosphere, and that adds a special touch to it. And then just the variety. I mean, I like to say I wear a lot of hats, but I also like the analogy of I play in a lot of sandboxes.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many
that.
aspects of the business that, you know, when it's all yours, you kind of have to do it all. So, you know, I'm so involved in ordering and working freight loads and unloading trucks and those types of things, building displays, setting up produce tent sales, those types of things. But I also, you know, I'm doing all the marketing, and I'm doing the scheduling and the payroll and the hiring and the interviewing and, you know, all of the HR things. There's just so much variety to it that it really is fun to you know, do so many different things. It really makes it interesting. The days go by very fast.
I bet. Well, rapid speed. And speaking of employees, some of those employees I know have been there forever. I have seen them for years and years and years. And that, to me, lends itself to the fact that you are a good employer, because in this market, they didn't have to really necessarily, you know, they didn't have to stay with you. They could have done anything else. And the fact that they're there still tells me what a great employer that you are.
Well, thank you.
So, but in this, you know, everybody has to go to the grocery store, right? Doesn't matter if there's a world pandemic or not. People need to eat, and they need stuff. And like me, I love the cleaning supply aisle. I don't know why, just I love that part. But have you had that come up as an issue of finding employees to work? Or have you just been set, you have your people and they're amazing?
Yes and no, both.
Right.
You know, really the pendulum has really swung both ways during the pandemic. You know, we've had, it's been a year where expecting the unexpected has, you know, been the mantra, right? So fortunately, I have some really loyal key employees that have stayed with us and just been a huge lifesaver to us during the time. And there was times where it was tough to find help, and then there was times where we were able to hire. So I think just kind of changing on the run. You know, we've had to adjust on the fly with how we would staff the store. You know, there were times where we didn't have our full set of department managers, but we had, you know, a lot of 16-year-olds that wanted to work, and so we would put them in positions where we kind of did, you know, the ordering and some of the more technical stuff that they didn't have the experience to do yet, but they stepped up and got some great experience and have been very dependable for us. And then there's some key employees that we just asked to do a little bit more of the administrative things and got them help to, you know, workloads and things like that. So we've navigated through it just by kind of adjusting with what the market dictated, and so far it's worked well. There's been some long hours and some tough weeks, but we've made it this far. So, and
Right.
It's been an adventure that none of us will ever forget.
Right. Well, and yeah, exactly. Everybody's had that. Welcome to being an entrepreneur. You don't know what you're going to happen this week. Just so you know. So looking back, what are some things that you maybe would have implemented or maybe done differently now that you're more established? Looking back, you're kind of like, I wish I would have done this instead.
I guess coming in as a new operator, and this probably, translates to just about any business, be as organized as you can coming into it. I think that we all think a little bit that we'll figure things out on the fly, and you do.
Right.
You have to.
You have to. Yep. It's not
But
a choice.
if I had spent a little bit more time doing my homework and having my files all set up, maybe looking at some other operators, filing systems,
Yeah.
what they had on their desktop, for computers as far as spreadsheets and things that would just help them save time, and had that all done up front, I think that I would have spent less time doing some of that in the wee hours at home, or
Right.
so
Good.
that would be that would be one thing that I would change. I would definitely try and be a little bit more organized and prepared ahead of time, administratively, because those are the things that really, when you're boots on the ground in the store all day, that stuff gets backburnered, and then all of a sudden it's facing you and it's 9 o'clock at night, and
Right.
you're making files and doing those types of things. So that would definitely be something that I would, definitely suggest and would do a little differently.
What do they call that? There's money in the system.
Yeah.
Right. Having
Mhm.
that system down
Mm-hmm.
makes the money.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any plans to expand, or do you have any goals that you're trying to achieve in the next 5 years or so?
Our hearts are here in Hillsboro. Our kids are at a private school over here, and they're absolutely flourishing. We love it here. We love living here. It's a great place to be. Our goal is to make the downtown Hillsboro grocery outlet the best it can be.
Excellent.
To grow the business there, to become increasingly involved in the community. We think that this is just such a vibrant, exciting community to be in and be a part of, and I guess that we just want to grow here. We
Awesome.
want the business to grow. We want to grow in our ability to reach out and help people in the community, to provide opportunities for people, and to just really make this the best it can be. And if other things open up, along the way, we'll always consider those opportunities. But right now, I would just say our hearts are in making Hillsboro Grocery Outlet the best it can be.
That's awesome. That's a great way to end. Thank you so much, Ted, for coming in, taking time away from the store to sit down and chat with us. I appreciate it, and I'll probably be in later today.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Betty Campbell, the founder and executive director of Xpose Hope, and I'm here with your Xpose Hope moment. So this weekend, we spent a great deal of time preparing Kim's Place, a house for trafficked women to change their lives. And it was done through volunteerism, people laying floors, cleaning, moving things around, painting. So much work needed to be done. And through that volunteerism, every one of those business owners and business people were able to say they gave back to the community, put up photos of themselves working, and it let them be community involved. It's important to be community involved. We have a ton of volunteer positions available. We would love to have your help. If you're interested, connect with us at xposehope.com under the volunteerism page, or email us xposehope@gmail.com. XPO